Grabe, what a battle in Toronto! Just when it looked like Alex Eala's incredible run might finally come to an end, the Filipino star found another level, fought through pain, pressure, and a dramatic deciding set, and somehow walked away with another massive victory. On center court at the National Bank Open, Eala defeated American Caty McNally in a thrilling three-set showdown, 6-3, 5-7, 6-4. But MGA Kababian, the drama did not stop when the final ball was struck. In many ways, that was only the beginning. Moments later, McNally walked into her post-match press conference, still carrying the frustration of a heartbreaking defeat, and the tennis world wanted to hear exactly what she had to say. Would she blame the overwhelmingly pro-Eala crowd? Would she point to the umpire? Would she make excuses for losing control of a match she nearly won? Her answer turned out to be much more complicated. McNally admitted she felt good about large parts of her performance. She spoke about a disputed call that she believed affected the momentum. But at the same time, she gave Eala something perhaps even more important than another victory: respect. She acknowledged that Alex stayed composed and delivered when the pressure became highest. McNally entered the press room visibly exhausted after a match filled with momentum swings. Playing in front of a packed crowd filled with Filipino supporters, she had pushed Eala to the absolute limit. According to McNally, she was actually satisfied with much of the tennis she produced during the opening two sets. Her game plan was working, and despite the difficult atmosphere, she felt she was finding ways to impose herself. Confidence was certainly not lacking. McNally had arrived after a huge victory over a Wimbledon champion, so she knew she was capable of competing with anyone. Still, facing Eala in Toronto was different. The crowd was firmly behind the Filipina. Philippine flags were everywhere, and almost every important point Alex won triggered another explosion of noise. Eala had started the match brilliantly. Her left-handed game immediately caused problems, and once she found her rhythm, she took command by winning 5 consecutive games on her way to claiming the opening set 6-3. She looked aggressive, fearless, and completely locked in. Every clean winner seemed to lift the crowd even higher. For Filipino fans watching from Canada, the Philippines, the Middle East, the United States, and everywhere else around the world, it felt like another special Alex Eala moment was developing. But tennis can change in an instant. During the second set, Eala appeared to roll her right ankle and needed a medical timeout. Her ankle was heavily taped, and for a period, her movement clearly looked affected. McNally immediately recognized the opportunity. Instead of allowing Alex to stay comfortable, she began moving her from side to side, forcing Eala to defend and put additional pressure on the injured ankle. McNally gradually took control, winning crucial games and eventually taking the second set 7-5. Suddenly the match was tied, Eala was hurting, and McNally appeared to have the momentum. Heading into the deciding set, the situation looked dangerous for Alex. But this is where the fight that Filipino fans have come to love showed itself again. Eala had the tape removed from her ankle and began moving with greater freedom. She returned to her aggressive style, stepped into the court, and grabbed a 3-1 lead. McNally, however, was not going away. The American responded, fought back, and leveled the score at 3-3. And then came the moment McNally would later discuss after the match, a disputed umpire decision. She believed a call went against her at a crucial stage, and from her perspective, that moment helped shift the emotional energy of the contest. The crowd became louder, Alex appeared to gain additional confidence, and suddenly the atmosphere inside the stadium felt even more intense. McNally did not hide her frustration afterward. She clearly believed the decision affected the momentum. But importantly, she did not reduce Eala's victory to one umpire call. Instead, McNally admitted that Alex responded extremely well when the pressure was at its peak. That distinction matters. An umpire decision might influence the atmosphere, but it cannot play the next point for you. It cannot hold serve for you. It cannot close out a 3-set battle while dealing with an ankle problem. Eala still had to execute, and that is exactly what she did. She pushed ahead, held her nerve, and eventually completed the victory 6-4 in the deciding set. That is what made McNally's reaction so interesting. There was frustration, yes. There was disappointment, absolutely. She felt the disputed moment had changed the direction of the match. But alongside that frustration came genuine respect. McNally acknowledged Eala's composure and ability to capitalize on the biggest moments. Rather than simply blaming circumstances, she recognized that Alex played better when the match was hanging in the balance. For Eala, that respect makes the victory even more meaningful. She was not simply lucky, she had dominated early, survived a difficult second set, dealt with physical discomfort, watched her opponent fight back in the third, and still found enough courage and quality to finish the job. That is mental toughness, that is resilience, and for Filipino fans, iyon ang nakakabilib, when things became difficult, Alex did not disappear. The victory also continued an extraordinary stretch of form. According to the match narrative, Eala had now collected 10 victories in her previous 11 matches dating back to Wimbledon. With the win over McNally, she advanced to the round of 16 at the Canadian Open, a prestigious WTA 1000 event. Even more impressive was the quality of the opponent she had beaten. McNally entered the match with serious confidence after eliminating a reigning Wimbledon champion, yet Eala still found a way through. Alex's own words afterward captured just how emotional this journey has become. She described the previous 2 weeks as incredible, filled with extreme emotions, while saying she was simply doing her best to keep powering through. And honestly, kababayan, you can understand why. Her recent rise has not felt like an ordinary winning streak. Every tournament seems to bring another packed venue, another dramatic battle, and another reminder that Philippine tennis is experiencing something it has rarely seen before. The atmosphere in Toronto showed exactly how powerful the Eala effect has become. Tournament director Carl Hale was reported as saying that Eala had helped generate more than 5,000 ticket sales, creating demand beyond the capacity of a 800-seat grandstand court. Filipino supporters came out in force, Philippine flags filled the stands, every rally carried emotion. For many Filipinos living in Canada, this was more than watching a tennis match. It felt like seeing a piece of home represented on one of tennis's biggest stages. Even McNally had recognized that impact before they played, speaking positively about what Eala was doing for tennis and the attention she was attracting. And that may be the bigger story behind this victory. Alex Eala is no longer simply a promising young player trying to establish herself. She is becoming someone opponents prepare seriously for, tournaments pay attention to, and Filipino communities around the world rally behind. Born in 2005, Eala has already carried enormous expectations, but moments like this show why so many people believe her ceiling remains incredibly high. She battled through an ankle scare, she survived a determined opponent, she handled a controversial moment without losing focus, and when the pressure reached its highest point, she delivered. McNally may leave Toronto frustrated about the call she believed changed the momentum, but her own comments also reinforced something Filipino fans will love hearing. Alex Eala earned her respect. Sometimes the strongest validation does not come from fans, headlines, or social media. Sometimes it comes from the player standing on the opposite side of the net. Another battle survived, another statement made, another packed crowd chanting for the Filipina. Alex Eala's Toronto journey rolls on, and if this match proved anything, it is that counting her out, even when she is hurt, even when momentum turns, even when the pressure becomes overwhelming, can be a very dangerous mistake. Pinoy pride is alive and roaring in Toronto, and Alex Eala is giving Filipino tennis fans another unforgettable ride.